What's up, everybody? It's Chris from Maxlider Brothers Customs, and today we're going to do a instructional video on how to install our retro fender flares on the four-door 2021 Bronco. Let's get started. With your fender flares in it, you're going to unbox it, obviously, because you can't put them on if they're still in the box, but we want to unbox it. You want to take like an inventory to make sure everything came in fine. Shouldn't be a problem, but you always want to be for sure. So what I've done is laid out everything except for I'm only putting one fender flare out because the table space isn't big enough for all four flares. So what we have, these are our front brackets that are going to go on the front flares. They will bolt into these. These will end up getting taped on. You'll see in the video. There'll be 3 for the front, both fronts, and there's 1 for each rear. And then these will also go on the rear double-sided sticky tape, and you'll see in the video and instructions on how we do those. So these, you'll have the bolts to bolt them up. These are the rear brackets. Front brackets, rear brackets, you can see R for rear, red, rear. And then these are the oddball brackets, and you'll have a silhouette on there to see which side they're going to go on. So this will be on the left side of the truck, because you can see it's the left side of the truck, and this will go on the right side of the truck because it's on there. And you'll see that when you get into the instructional video. So you'll have 4 flares, 2 fronts, 2 rears. These will be the additions for the rears. This is what goes on the door. These will be attached by double-sided sticky tape, and so when you get it from us, it should have the double-sided sticky tape on it already. And then there will be fender flare welting, and I'll show you how it goes on. These brackets that will end up going onto the fender flare, and then we send 3M sticky tape with it, and then attach each screws. We also have the hardware that will go on the outside, Allen screw, button head, stainless steel, so it won't rust for you. They will be attached into there, and I can show you how to screw them in. You should have 55 of the Allen head button head bolts along with 55 washers. You'll only need 50 to do the whole kit, but we throw in a couple extra because, I don't know if you can tell, I got fat fingers, and sometimes that stuff falls on the ground, goes in a drain, and then what happens, Micah?
You lose it.
Yeah, you lose it. So threw in a couple extra just in case that happens. So let's show you how to prep one of these fender flares and get it ready to be put on the truck. Okay, so the first step we're going to do is we're going to attach these little dually whopper thingy bin jiggers. Okay, this is what your quarter turns are going to go into for when you take them off the new or your previous fender flares. So what you're going to do is you're going to take them, they fit right in there pretty easy, index pretty easy, and you want to take, it comes with the screws you're going to need. You're going to need 2 of these small black Phillips screws, and I got me a handy dandy really long screwdriver to get down to it so I'm not hitting up against that. And then you push the table out of the way. And you just get it in there, start screwing them in. Takes a little bit of force because it's not tapped, but a little bit of force to get them in there. All right, so you'll have each fender flare has an amount to put them into. I've already done a couple of them here. You want to make sure you get all those in there. So after you're done with that, we're going to flip the fender flare over, and we're going to start installing the welting that goes on the back. What's welting? If you put the plastic right up against the paint, you're going to have some paint issues, paint marking. So we put welting in between it to help the plastic rub against it so it's not marking up the paint. And so what you're going to want to do, it comes with a full roll of welting, and you're going to have to cut this yourself. But I'll show you how we put it on. Take the surface, and you want to get some acetone or maybe some fingernail polish remover to clean this surface up, okay? And then you're going to want to get your handy dandy 3M, because nothing but the best, right? 3M double-sided sticky tape, which comes with it. And you want to start placing it. Now this is the rear. So FYI, here's your rear, and I said this is left rear. There's a cutout right here, a notch out right here, because this is where the door's going to go through at. And that's where these will fit into it at. Okay, so these are already double-sided sticky tape, like I said. So you're going to take this one, and so you don't have to go the full length of the flare with the welting. You're just going to go stop to right here. But where you're going to want to start is down here with the welting. Okay. And when we get done, we can show you where that starts at. But it gets me thinking, why do we do these retro fender flare? What is it about it, and like why did Maxlider go this route with it? And, we've been in the early Bronco space for many years, and all of our builds that we do flares with, we do fiberglass fender flares with, but how we attach them has button heads, or sometimes you can do rivets. And so what we were trying to accomplish with this was to have a retro throwback style and look, and like the best way I can show you that is, why don't you come out to the shop and I'll show you one, or 2 or 3, because we have a lot of them. So like this one, beautiful truck obviously because it's an early Bronco, but it has the screws, so it gives it the retro look. Comes up, meets against the fender flare. You can see this one has the welting on it also, as we did on all the trucks. But this is a good example. This one uses Phillips screws that we attach with that one. Another one, paint to match fender, welting, finishing screws. And again, another retro one, a beautiful Brittany blue, ice blue. Actually, so this one was Maxlider ice blue. But that's the retro. That's the style that we were going for when we went with these flares. The next question, or maybe a question you may be asking is, hey Chris, why am I getting this stuff all taken apart and it's not put together when I get it? Well, the reason is we have clients that buy these and they want to do a color match flare. And so if all this stuff is on there, if your hardware's on there, your fender flare welting is on there, it's going to be really pain to prep it and get it painted. So it comes loose. I'm sorry, I wish we could put them together for everybody, but it just doesn't work because we have so many people who are wanting to do a color match. So that's the reason why this stuff doesn't come on. So I'm just going to show you how we do it with the left rear, and the other three are the same exact way. So here's what we do. Take the fender flare over, and you're going to want to get some acetone or some sort of fingernail polish remover. You're going to want to clean up this surface here. This has a little bit of a sticky left to it from what was on it originally. You don't necessarily have to have all that off because it's tacky already, but you want to make sure you have a good surface there, and you're going to want to take your double-sided sticky tape. And since this is the rear flare, and as I said earlier, you're going to want to take the welting all the way down to the bottom. You'll want to start with your double-sided sticky tape and start at the bottom and get it on there really good. Get it on pretty, you want it to be pretty consistent to stay along that. As you see, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but it'll be good. After you get it started here, you'll want to take your fender flare welting. Now, this fender flare welting goes one way, as you can see. If you want to pull her in, Micah, you can see how the ball is offset on one side, the bulb, what would you call it, a bulb, a ball?
Bulb.
Bulbish thingy. Yeah. It's off-centered, and so this is what's going to go to the back. This is what's going to touch the body, this side of it. This side is what's going to overlap or hang over the side or the top of the fender flare. And so once you get your welting, or once you get your sticky tape on, you'll obviously, where I said, you'll stop right here. You'll want to start putting it on. Obviously, you'll pull off the double-sided part of it, and you'll want to start putting it on, and you'll want to, this is a little bit tedious, but you'll want to pay attention to how the finish looks and when you get it bunched on there. And when you get it, start putting it on, you want to make sure you get it mashed into the tape pretty good. So let me flip it over real quick. So basically your finished look will end up looking like this. Take it to the end and stay on the outside of it, and you'll make the turn. Once you, if it, as you're not going to see on this because I'm not putting the tape on it, but once you go to make this turn, the tape should hold it and be good. And get it around there. You know, come around, and do the whole end of it. If you wanted to, when you're making a big turn like this, it probably wouldn't hurt to find out where you're at on the backside and maybe cut a little V in there so it gives it a bend. You'll want to end up doing the whole thing. Then, you, like I said, this is the rear, and so you will end up stopping with the fender flare, the welting, at this end of it. You can see that. Once you get there, you'll take off, you know, a sharp knife, as I have one, and you'll cut the access off where you want it, and then you're done getting the fender flare welting on. After you get the fender flare welting on, what you're going to want to do is attach your hardware. Now, do these do anything as far as holding the fender flare to the vehicle? No. Strictly there for aesthetics. Help me with this word. Aesthetics?
Aesthetics.
Aesthetics. Big words. So yeah, these are just, they're 1/4 inch long. They're not going to touch the body, so you'll be fine. You don't have to drill holes in your fenders or your quarter panels to be able to attach these. And so what we'll do is we'll just take this bolt, and we take, it comes with a little bit of Loctite, blue Loctite. You'll put just a little dab of Loctite on there, and then you'll just start attaching them to all the holes going through. And make sure you don't put a lot of Loctite on it, because if you do, it'll bulge out and it'll make a mess there. So just put a little bit of dab and put it on there. And that's the last thing you would do.